So, Nickal versus Jamie Pickett has been slated towards the end of the year. It's Nickal's UFC debut. He was literally signed to the UFC 2 days before this matchup was made. But I'm going to be giving you guys an episode, my very first episode of Storytime with Artem. Now, it's going to be a very interesting one. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about things that may have been on your mind. Like, do I train any martial arts, this and that? Maybe like a couple of other things, maybe an explanation for why I don't. But I train boxing, like it's not I train boxing, so I guess that kind of counts. But I'll be talking about that later. I'll kind of give you a clarification on what's going on. But honestly, I've probably been training some sort of striking for on and off, like very on and off, not consistently at all, for probably about 10 years now. I probably would have been younger than 10 years old when I went to boxing for the first time. And to be honest, I was like 9 or 10 years old. All I really did was jump rope and hit some pads, not very hard, and hit the bag. I didn't really do much. I was kind of just there to hit stuff, really. I don't think I got too much good training in there, but it was fun. That's kind of where it started. And then when I was about 14 years old, I started becoming absolutely obsessed with the UFC. So I rocked along to the kickboxing class for my first time, and I did the beginners class there. Ended up training kickboxing for a long time. I'm not too sure how long exactly it would have been, but I do have a red belt in kickboxing, if that kind of means anything to you guys. But yeah, I kickboxed for a little bit in my high school. But while I was doing that, I was playing rugby and I was doing all these other sports, and poor Artem's body kind of got the best of him. I've actually had 2 major surgeries on my jaw. I've had 2 surgeries on my shoulder. And little old Artem anymore, he can't kickbox. He's too scared to kickbox, and that's just the truth of it. And it's not that I'm scared to get hit; it's that I'm scared to get hit, if that makes sense. So if you kind of can understand where I'm coming from here, I've actually had this part from here all the way back to about here removed from my jaw, and if you don't believe me, I actually have a scar that runs from the front of my chin all the way to the back of my ear. I don't really show too many people. It's very, very noticeable if you see me in person, but it actually freaks a lot of people out when they see a photo of it. So it's not something I share too much. But I actually have a scar that runs all the way down here. It runs down my chin, all the way to the back of my ear, as a result of having a major surgery, which actually involved the removal, as I said, the removal of half of my jaw, all of my teeth from the lower right side of my mouth. And to replace that part of my jaw, they actually removed the fibula from my leg, which is kind of like the backbone of your leg. So I don't have that. That's been removed. And they pretty much bent this bone in half and just stuck it in my jaw like that. So I've got no teeth at the bottom right of my jaw. And this bone right here is my fibula with a metal plate, and about 10 screws in it. So poor little Artem actually has to cough. Terrible, I'm sorry. But yeah, so poor little Artem, his kickboxing dreams, they're not ruined, but they might as well be. I mean, like, I don't know. It's kind of a thing where if I got hit clean, like if someone hit me with a clean hook to the right side of my jaw, I would be back in hospital. So, I don't know. Ever since that surgery I had, it would have been about 2 years ago now. Yeah, my motivation to kickbox hasn't been the same. But let's just talk back about 11 months ago. I'd been through a very hard time with my family, this and that, a little bit of a hard time with myself, and I was kind of going through it, and I had a friend that really wanted to kickbox, he really wanted to kickbox. He's messaging me all the time, come to kickboxing with me, this and that, like he'd never been. So I was like, alright, you know what, like I was, at the time I was probably the size that I am now, like I put on a lot of weight, and I was like, yep, alright. So I came along to him, went to the beginner's course. It's funny, the trainer still remembered me, even after a couple of years. And I did the beginner's course with him again. I thought it was pretty fun. We kept going to kickboxing together. I probably did it for 4 months. I don't think I did it for too long. But over that 4 months of time, I lost so much weight. It was crazy. Like, it's actually amazing how much like exercise you can get in by training like some sort of martial art, or just some sort of like something like that. You know what I mean? Like you can lose so much weight doing it. And I lost a lot of weight. I become quite fit, quite happy, quite well. But then I stopped because the training started to become a little bit too hard for me. Like, not really in difficulty, but it's more like the light sparring. It was very light sparring, I'll have you know. But I was still like that paranoia of getting hit in the jaw, so I've kind of stopped doing that. I'm not kickboxing anymore. I took a couple of months off and then went back for a couple of weeks, but it just wasn't me. I wasn't really loving it. But yeah, fast forward a little bit of time. Artem's put on a lot of weight. Like, I'm probably the unhealthiest I've ever been in my entire life right now. And I found out that there's a boxing gym in the small city that I live. I live in a very small city. There probably is only one kickboxing gym and one boxing gym in the whole city. But this boxing gym that I'm going to actually has a boxing fitness class, non-contact. So that's what I need. You know, that's what I need. Like, I love MMA. Oh, you might actually ask me, why don't I do jiu-jitsu? Kind of the same sort of thing. I've had my surgery, my shoulder screwed back on. Like, I think I'm the most flexible guy in the world. I don't really want anything to happen there. And once again with my jaw, like, I feel like if maybe someone choked me at a weird angle or whatever, like, it could do some damage there. So yeah, not doing that. And I did try Kung Fu. Which is another one that there's offered in my city, but I didn't love it. It was different. It wasn't my favorite. So now I'm boxing. I'm boxing right now. I'm going to a boxing fitness class. I've only been doing it for about a couple of weeks or so, but I'm loving it. I'm actually really enjoying it. And it's good. Like, they really push you, you know? Like, I think that's what I needed. I need someone to really like motivate me to do fitness, because I can't really motivate myself. So if I go to this boxing class, I'm surrounded by like 20 other people that are all kind of there for the same thing, for fitness, this and that. It kind of motivates me to work hard and get into it. So that's what I'm doing right now, man. Like, you're never gonna see me in the octagon. You're never gonna see me in the cage. I think I've like called out the MMA guru to a fight, like, for a laugh, because I know he's got a black belt in Taekwondo, but he's actually claimed himself. He said in a video that his black belt in Taekwondo means nothing, but I thought that was a funny call out at the time, just because I've got my red belt in kickboxing, he's got his black belt in Taekwondo, but yeah, I thought I'd just kind of bring that story time with Artem. What am I up to these days? I'm boxing. I'm not kickboxing anymore. I'm not really doing anything really. Like, I'm just boxing. No jiu-jitsu for me. Oh, by the way, you might actually bring up why not wrestle. I live in New Zealand, mate. Like, wrestling is like non-existent here. I don't even know where you would even go to do wrestling in New Zealand. Like, unless you go on a city kickboxing, it's probably not on offer. Maybe anywhere in the country, honestly. Like, it's just not an existent thing. But yeah, JB Pickett versus Bo Nickal. Let's get into the prediction after 7 minutes. But yeah, so JB Pickett versus Bo Nickal. Picking Bo Nickal and picking him pretty quickly. I think he should get the job done early, like round one early. You know what I mean? Bo Nickal, he's finished his last few opponents in the first round. You know, he beat Zachary Borrego in the first round, beat Donovan Beard in the first round, and that's a fight which I thought Donovan Beard was gonna last until the second round. And Bo Nickal just has great grappling. I know he's been doing a lot of grappling tournaments, but it's showing. Like, this guy is not just working on his wrestling, you can tell he's working on his grappling as well. Like, he's fighting these other grapplers. I don't know if these like wrestling tournaments or grappling tournaments, but the point is, it's showing. He's showing. It's looking really good. I don't know about his kickboxing, honestly. Jamie Pickett probably is the more technical striker here. He's been striking for a much longer period of time. Bo Nickal's striking hasn't really been showcased, like, whatsoever. I'm not really going to make a comment on it. He obviously did kind of drop Donovan Beard there, but I think that was kind of in part to Donovan Beard fearing the takedown. Yeah, I think if the fight's on the feet, Jamie Pickett might have some success, but I think he's going to be so scared of the takedown that Bo Nickal actually might look like he's got really good striking, so it could be a weird one. But the thing about Bo Nickal versus Jamie Pickett is here. Jamie Pickett's not a finisher. He doesn't win fights by finish in the UFC much. He beat Loriana Staropoli by grinding him up against the cage. He beat Joseph Holmes by doing pretty much the same thing. The way that Jamie Pickett wins his fights is he grinds you up against the cage and wins by control. Bo Nickal's not gonna let him do that. Like, he's the much stronger grappler out of the two. Jamie Pickett doesn't really have KO power. I don't think that he's gonna knock out Bo Nickal. I don't think he's gonna be able to get a submission off his back. Like, the thing is with Bo Nickal, like, if Bo Nickal was booked to debut against someone like Claudio Ribeiro, I know this is a really weird comparison, but you can understand where I'm coming from. If he was to debut against Claudio Ribeiro, 10-2 record, also signed off Dana White's Contender Series. But here's where it comes down to here. If Bo Nickal was to debut against Claudio Ribeiro, I would say Bo Nickal will probably win in the first round. But he has to watch the power of Claudio Ribeiro. And the reason for that is this guy's got so many first round KOs on his record. You have to fear the striking in somewhat, unless if you're going to respect him. Like, I know it's a 5th round finish, but first round. You got to respect the power. And that's what I would say. I would say Bo Nickal really should use his wrestling and his grappling to win by the first round. But Claudio Ribeiro's got a chance to knock him out early on. And this fight here, I can't say Bo Nickal's probably going to win early on into the first round, but Jamie Pickett might be able to knock him out in the first round. Because it's just not really like something I see happening. Jamie Pickett's not the kind of guy that's going to come out here and knock someone out like Bo Nickal in the first round. When was the first time he got a finish? In 2019 over a guy that was 5-6. This is his last first round finish. And he obviously beat Genovan Party, but Genovan Party's also got finished by Joseph Holmes, I believe, in like 30 seconds into the first round. Like, he's kind of a guy that was 22 minutes 20. But anyway, the point is he was kind of used by the UFC to build other guys up. But yeah, picking Bo Nickal. I don't think there's much fear in this matchup. Hopefully you enjoyed the story time with Artem. I don't know if you did. I don't think it was that good of a story. But maybe as time goes on, I could tell you some like more funny stories about like weird stuff that's kind of happened to me, this and that. But yeah, Bo Nickal really should win this matchup here, and I'm picking him to win by first round finish. I don't know if it's submission or KO. I actually can see a KO, but he probably will just win by submission like he already has been. But hopefully he's not a guy that falls in love with his hands. That's the biggest fear for Bo Nickal. Imagine if he falls in love with his hands and neglects the massive wrestling background that he's got. We'll see what happens, man. But I'm picking Bo Nickal early on, obviously. I mean, there's no way he loses this matchup realistically.